Welcome back to the Healing Path. Thank you for joining me today. In this session, I want to explore something profoundly human, something that almost everyone experiences, but I think it's fair to say that very few people feel comfortable talking about it, and that's loneliness. Um, and loneliness isn't simply being alone, and it isn't just the absence of, people around us, nor is it solved by being with others or filling our calendars with activities. Loneliness is an emotional, energetic state. It's a feeling of disconnection from ourselves, from others, sometimes even from life itself. And for many people, loneliness feels like drifting, like being physically present, but not feeling emotionally seen or held. It can feel like an internal ache. It's like a longing for someone to truly understand you, a longing to feel safe, supported, valued, and connected. And what makes loneliness so hard is that we often believe it's a sign of weakness. We tell ourselves that we should be stronger, more independent, or less needy. But in truth, loneliness is simply part of being human. It really is one of the deepest expressions of that innate need for belonging that we have. We were designed to connect. We were designed to feel part of something truly meaningful. And we've all been designed to share love, support, understanding, and companionship. These are all really important to our well-being. So when these needs aren't being fulfilled, loneliness is that natural emotional response that we have. But here's something that really is important to remember. Loneliness does not mean that you're unlovable. It does not mean that you are forgotten, and it doesn't mean that you're broken. Loneliness simply means your heart is ready and asking for connection. And connection, can take many forms, can't it? It doesn't always mean connecting with another person. Sometimes the first connection we need to rebuild is the connection we have with ourselves. And this is probably the most important one of all. Loneliness can arise, well, yeah, for many reasons, and none of them are failures. Sometimes it comes after a major life transition, like losing someone you love. It might be the end of a relationship. It could be a shift in your health. Maybe you've moved to a new place or have a new job, or you're entering a stage of life where the people around you change. Sometimes loneliness arises when we're surrounded by people but don't feel emotionally safe or understood. You can be in a relationship with family, be in a workplace or a social circle, and you can still feel profoundly alone if you're feeling unheard or unseen. So loneliness can show up when we carry emotional blocks or emotional walls from our past hurts. We protect our heart because we've been rejected, we've been judged, maybe abandoned, or deeply wounded sometimes. And over time, those experiences, those walls, stop others from getting too close because you want to protect yourself. But they also stop us from letting genuine connection in. It's sort of a bit of a catch-22 situation, really. And sometimes loneliness grows because we've lost touch with ourselves, with our true needs, our desires, our boundaries, and our inner voice. And we disconnect from ourselves um, when we automatically start to disconnect from the world around us. But the good news is loneliness isn't a life sentence. It doesn't last forever. It is not permanent. It's just an emotional signal that there is some deep healing that's ready to begin. So in that, it might not feel like it, but loneliness often carries gifts. It can invite you to slow down and to look inwards. And we often don't like to do that, do we? We avoid it, I know. And we often are asked what parts of us have been neglected we can stop and think what our heart truly longs for. We can look for the gifts that are there if we can just stop for 5 minutes and think about what we're feeling and try to discover why and where it comes from. So loneliness, in the gift that it can help us rediscover what kind of connection we're wanting, what nourishes us. Deep, meaningful, authentic connection rather than just surface level interaction. So it builds, it invites us to build a stronger relationship within ourselves so that we no longer fear being alone. Because when you know how to be with yourself lovingly and compassionately, loneliness softens. So it can be a beautiful doorway into your emotional growth. It definitely helps us to examine some old beliefs like, I'm not good enough for people to want to stay with me, or no one understands me. That's a common one. Or I need to hide who I really am. I need to show the world what they want to see, not what I really am. And people always leave. That's a very common one as well. So when we can bring awareness to these beliefs with kindness and love, they do begin to dissolve, and you create like space for healthier, deeper connections. So even when loneliness feels so isolating, which it does, um, just remember that you really are not alone in this experience. And although that might not help you right in that moment, knowing that you're not alone, that there's heaps of other people out there that feel lonely, that are lonely, it doesn't necessarily help you in this moment, but just there is a sense of knowing that when there's people all over the world who are sitting with the same feelings that you are, that longing, the ache, the quiet question of, does anyone truly see me? Does anyone really care? So just thinking these thoughts, knowing that you're not alone, it can help to dissolve those feelings and just takes the edge off that sense of loneliness. And when you listen to this self-talk, you're already taking a courageous step. You're choosing to acknowledge your feelings instead of burying them. And when you bury things, they do, sort of squeeze their way out in some other form, often in a physical form of illness. So when you choose not to bury these feelings, you choose self-awareness and you're choosing healing, because the awareness, the acknowledgement of these feelings allows your body to heal in many ways. So connection starts with honesty, with saying to yourself, I feel lonely, and that's okay. There's no shame in that, and there's certainly no weakness in it. It is one of the most human feelings that we can experience. And like I said earlier, every one of us is going to feel this loneliness, whether we're alone or whether we're with people. That's irrelevant, because we will experience that feeling of loneliness. And today, if we can just meet that loneliness with understanding instead of judgment or with fear, notice it with softness instead of a sense of, shame, with compassion, and let go of the fear around it, because loneliness doesn't really need to be fixed. It needs to be felt, to be held, to be understood so that it can be gently transformed. And if you can say to yourself, I deserve to feel connected. I deserve emotional safety. I deserve relationships that nourish me. I deserve to feel seen, valued, and loved. And these, when you can say and honor that you do deserve this and you want this, this is what you really want, and you're not going to leave it to someday when you might improve, when someone might pay attention, or you might become better or do more. But right now, exactly as you are, owning the truth of what you feel you deserve, what you want, really does help you to ignite that truth within and to come to knowing what you really want. And to know that your heart is worthy of companionship. Your presence is truly meaningful, and your existence touches the world far more than you realize. And even if your life has felt, quiet or empty lately, connection is always still possible. Healing is very possible, and fulfillment is still possible. So just take that moment to allow yourself to feel what you want, to know what you want, to honor what you deserve in life, because you deserve the very best that life can bring, and to understand that even though you may be alone, you certainly might be feeling that deep loneliness. Just know that it's temporary. It's not there forever. You will move through it, and you'll move through it much faster and more easily if you just honor your truth within. Thank you for joining me today, and I do hope that some of the words have connected and helped you in your journey through a time of loneliness that might be with you right now. Stay well, stay nourished, and take care of you. I'll see you next time.